Hello everyone, it's Shane Kanto, your Wasteland Reviewer, and welcome to Lost in the Wasteland, my weekly interview show where I learn a little bit more about somebody else's perspective on movies, and a little television this time around as well.
Ooh.
But joining me, frequent collaborator and one of my best friends, Paige. Thank you so much for coming on.
Hi, thanks Shane. Happy to be here as always, except when we're watching John Ford movies, but even then I'm having a good time.
And Paige only has to do that one more time. And I promise, it is literally just one more time.
Thank you.
But this is Paige's fifth time coming on here to answer general questions.
Okay.
Because we have done a couple of film interviews too, remembering back to our Phantom episode.
I loved that.
Which I brought back memories because I was listening to the Phantom soundtrack earlier today a little bit.
Oh yeah?
Point of No Return came onto my playlist on Spotify called Why Are They Singing? Which is all songs from musicals.
Okay.
Because I like... what you need in life is to amuse yourself sometimes.
So true, bestie.
So true. But Paige, let's get started.
Okay.
So a couple of these questions really towards the beginning are focusing on like your movie watching experience.
Okay.
So what is your
ready.
preferred environment to watch a movie?
Your house? I spent the vast majority of movies I watch are either in the movie theater or they're at Jess and Shane's house. And they're almost always with you and or Jess. So, yeah. I get comfy. I have my spot on the couch right next to Jess.
Yes.
And I get ornery if anyone else tries to sit there and Jess makes the move.
When we have movie marathons, generally most of us have specific seats.
Yeah.
Like, I cheat. I have a recliner. Like,
yeah.
That's my seat. So that's where I always sit.
So you in the recliner, then Jess on the edge of the sofa, and then me next to Jess.
Yes, there we go. So that is the ideal movie watching experience.
Yes.
Only with a close second watching on the phone.
Yes.
Just like Christopher Nolan intended. As a complete joke there. I have never heard you talk about watching a movie on the phone, so Christopher Nolan, calm down.
Okay.
But, next question.
Mm-hmm.
So, when you go to a theater, because I know we go to the movies a decent amount together, what are your standards for like when you're in a theater? What do you expect out of your movie going experience?
I mean, my standards are generally like I'm going there for free because we're at a press screening, or I'm Venmoing you $8 because you have that subscription to Stubs or whatever the fuck it's called.
And we go to matinees because we're not chumps.
Yeah.
And paying full price.
And I usually, I know we're now on, we're trying to eat healthier, but I usually will bring a snack.
Which is,
for both of us too.
The snack is appreciated.
So we'll talk about some healthy snacks. Not now. I don't think people want to watch us do that, but yeah.
I'm trying to watch my figure.
We're both watching our girlish figures.
Yes. So... It's so funny, this is how close we are movie watching at this point, because, these are legitimately the standards.
Yeah.
So there you go.
I'm so serious about that.
And as long as we don't eat anything bad beforehand, and not have another...
Oh my god! Every time we've eaten sushi, this happened twice, we ate sushi and then went to the movies and we had to leave because I got food poisoning. So now we have a rule, no sushi before the movies.
White rice.
Or nothing. Or just nothing.
The blandest... What's that diet where it's
the brat diet?
Brat diet, yep.
Bananas, rice, applesauce, and toast. Yeah.
Sub toast for white rice sometimes. Basically the same kind of dry, bland kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, brat diet it before the movies because the priority is to watch the movies and we don't want to go to the bathroom.
I have no idea why that's happened twice. That was so weird, but whatever.
Yep. I also don't eat sushi, so I did probably eat just white rice before.
Yeah, no, I know.
Which is the funniest part.
And I eat sushi all the time. It was just this, I don't know, whatever. But so, no...
Bad vibes with the sushi that we had. Now, shifting gears a little bit, what's a film that will always get an emotional reaction out of you that you watch?
I think most of the movies that have gotten a serious emotional reaction out of me, I don't really watch more than once because I'm like a little soft boy.
It's I don't want to experience that again.
Yeah.
Had it once, thank you very much.
Exactly. I just thought of one. I wrote down Moonlight.
Okay.
That's a movie I think I've seen once or twice because it was just so I was shooketh to the core. I don't want to spoil it, but like shooketh to the core. Questioned my whole life.
Yep.
Just so existentially sad. But also Schindler's List. Like, remember we watched that and we were both like crying. All three of us, just there too. We were all like crying. It was awful.
I'm just gonna put this out there. Mm-hmm. If you don't have an emotional reaction to Schindler's List, I think we know what you might be.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna say it out loud because you probably already know. But yeah, I feel like Schindler's List is that kind of movie. Like, they even made a joke about it in Seinfeld where, like, Jerry and his girlfriend can't find time together except at the movies, and they were making out in Schindler's List. And it turns into a whole entire thing. The whole rest of the episode's like, how could you be making out during Schindler's List?
Yeah. I don't know. That makes me like side-eye Jerry and his girlfriend because like that's crazy behavior.
I think the finale of Seinfeld makes a lot more sense after you think about that episode. When it turns out to like you realize like they're all horrible people.
Yeah.
All four of them, and they all wind up in jail for it.
I don't like Seinfeld. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I've watched every episode of Seinfeld. That was one of my go-tos after school. But like no, Schindler's List though. Like, I've watched that, I think, 3 or 4 times, because, one, my brother missed a lot of school his senior year, so he had to watch Schindler's List at home, because we were required in high school, and, like, I was home, too, so I wound up watching Schindler's List with him, like, that's God, I'm going to have to rewatch this again in a year.
Yeah, no.
At school. And I did.
It's really sad.
And then I did not watch Schindler's List again until I did my Spielberg series. I'm like, well, we're watching Schindler's List.
Until the three of us watched it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember.
Yep.
Yeah,
what a time. So I enjoy this question because there's so many film series out there that should have died a painful death at some point already. And some that it's just like, wow, I really wish we could have gotten more. So I'm asking both those questions. So let's start with, what's a series that you wish could have continued that wound up stopping?
Oh, this was so easy when I was writing the answers to this. His Dark Materials.
I
know they made a HBO show about it, which I really hated. I didn't like it at all.
Interesting.
I actually like the movie better. So
Did you read the books?
Yeah.
Interesting.
I know.
I feel like you're like the only human being I've ever heard who actually liked the books and was like, yeah, this movie was...
No, I didn't like this TV show or the movie. I guess I should clarify. I like the movie better.
Interesting.
Which I know is like probably a hot take, but
because they're like, okay, we like fantasy, we like big fighting polar bears, but atheism? Do we need to put that in the movie?
Not atheism.
Because we want to make money. So
I'm just saying, like, stylistically and like in terms of the actors.
Also, I will have to say, one, I did really like the series a lot on HBO. One thing that I hated was you got Lin-Manuel Miranda to replace Sam Elliott as, like, a pirate captain. Like,
Look. It's fine. It's not, but whatever. Yes, but that's my answer. His Dark Materials,
it was because Lin-Manuel Miranda was in everything at that point. Everything.
It's fine.
James McAvoy, though, that was an inspired choice, I feel like.
Yeah, I could see that. No, I guess I'm more talking about vibes. I understand your point, but like, I just thought the vibes of the movie better kind of captured what I was picturing, honestly, when I was reading the books.
I feel like the show was grittier and not as fantastical feeling, I guess.
Yeah,
and,
exactly.
Like, it is a fantasy story, so, like, you know, you want to have some of that fun, too. But, yeah, they're just like, well, we neutered the movie from the source material, and the people who liked the books hated it, and then not enough other people liked it, so, well, we're going to stop now.
Yeah.
And what's one of those series that you just wish would die and just stop?
I think Marvel... I want to send a cease and desist to Marvel. I know.
I knew this was coming.
Why did you even ask me this? You knew what I was going to say, man.
Well,
but
there's set questions.
I know.
There's set questions, Paige.
Just... I'm
Go ahead.
I'm so over Marvel.
Yep.
I'm so over it.
Could they have ended after Endgame? Yes. But money.
Yes. That money, dear boy. That really sums it up, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Literally money. How could we possibly... We just made the second highest grossing film in the history of cinema. How could we possibly stop now? So, yes.
Let's just move on.
Yes. Now, Paige, what's a historical event you feel like should get a movie adaptation about it?
Okay, so this is probably a weird one.
Okay.
And it happened in like 2012, 2013. I forget the exact year. So... I don't know. I think that's far enough that we can make a movie about this.
Did you, like, Dumb Money came out about the GameStop getting saved by that 2 years after it happened. Not even 2 years, so I think we're good.
Okay.
I think that's plenty of time.
So this is like a really weird and obscure one. But the whole saga of that research team finding Richard III's skeleton in the parking lot.
They did make a movie about that.
They did?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
That was the one with Sally Hawkins in it. Yep.
What?
That came out
Sally Hawkins is in it?
Yep.
I like her.
It completely flew under the radar, but I really appreciate that you brought up something that weird and obscure and that British people would make a movie out of it.
I'm gonna go watch. You need to tell me what it's called. I need to go watch. I'm so serious. Do you remember what it's called?
I feel like it was like
it
The Last King or The Lost King, something like that.
Is that a fucking joke? I need to go watch that. Okay.
No, I watched it. Was
it good?
I enjoyed it.
Was it worth a watch?
I think it's worth a watch.
Okay.
Especially if you like British stuff.
I do.
It's very British. So if you like British stuff, it certainly has that.
I followed that saga with such interest because like British, really European, but especially British, like royal history is one of my like special interests. So I was so fascinated by that whole saga.
Well, I'm so glad that I can make Paige's dream come true
I'm so
live
happy.
on this episode.
I'm gonna go watch that. I'm so serious. Yay!
Because I had 100% to do with this movie happening. There you go.
Yay!
Now, what person deserves to get a biopic made about them?
Oh, okay. So. Also, she was married to a British king at some point, but I guess France didn't really exist. Well, so her name, I think I'm gonna mispronounce this. Her name was Eleanor of Aquitaine?
Okay.
I don't know if I'm saying that right. It's like Old French. But she was technically a duchess.
Okay.
In the 12th century, like medieval Europe. She was one of the most powerful women and richest women of her time. She married first, Louis IV, I think, French king. They got divorced and she married Henry II. Gotta
play that. Gotta get it done.
Yeah. I think she was, if I'm remembering correctly, no, she wasn't Richard III's mother. She was Richard the Lionheart's mother. I think they're two separate people. But she was a really fascinating woman, and she lived to be like 80-something years old, which was obviously fucking like...
That's impressive.
Ancient back in that time. But, women back then obviously did not have a lot of political power in their own right, and she was just like a really fascinating woman, and I don't really think there's a lot of media about her.
So when can we get Kenneth Branagh on this?
Oh yeah, I feel like we could.
I feel like that would be be something up his alley.
Yeah.
Before he signs on to do Thor 5.
But yeah, that's my girl. And I probably mispronounced the name of her like kingdom. But
I feel like I'm also somebody that will watch anything from like that kind of stuff. Like I was watching like The Serpent Queen.
You'll watch anything, period, man.
That is a fair point.
Yeah, that's just fine. Like, I admire that about you.
But there is a spectrum of, like, how interested I am. I would be more interested in watching stuff like that. I'd definitely be down for that. Especially if Kenneth Branagh makes it. He is a classy filmmaker when it comes to stuff like that.
I think it'd be right up his alley.
Now, what is your go-to streaming service? And what features and content do you desire most out of a streaming service?
I mean, I guess the one I end up using the most is Paramount Plus for reasons we'll discuss in a minute. But I'm not picky. I just want it to like not have ads, and I want the video to stream smoothly. Like I have no desires. I don't know. I'm not picky about that.
Well, this is a nice segue, and this might be a very fresh wound we're opening up right now.
Yeah, it is.
What
man.
TV series do you wish would get it revived for more seasons?
Obviously, Evil. Obviously.
And Paige, would you like to... I figured this would be a great time for your shameless plug.
Oh, thank you.
So, Paige, where should people find you and your thoughts specifically about the show Evil?
So we have a podcast, my sister and I, called the Evil Twins Podcast. The Evil Twins Podcast on Instagram. And yeah, our podcast is weird, but Shane likes it.
It's thoroughly entertaining. It's so much fun listening to them talk about their show.
Thank you.
And yeah, this finale, I feel like, could only be described as the creators specifically made it so that it's not solving anything to the point where there has to be pressure for some other streaming service to pick it up and make more seasons.
Yeah, I feel like I fully agree with you, and I feel like if I say any more, I'm just gonna vomit. So
yeah, we want Evil back. So
we want Evil back, please, and thank you.
Yes, and it just ended, and it shouldn't have, especially not the way that it did. But moving on.
Thank you.
So
let's move on.
What actor would you love to see make a comeback?
Oh, well, this is easy, and we just recorded a podcast about There Will Be Blood. I miss Daniel Day-Lewis. I
miss every 5-6 years when he just shows up and absolutely kills a role, wins an Oscar, and then goes and does whatever the hell he does in between the two movies.
I will say, though, I think it's probably best for his mental health that he is not an actor anymore.
No.
He seems to fully dissociate into his
roles. I think his
roles.
marriage probably too.
Yeah.
I would assume so.
I don't think being an actor is particularly good for him, so I respect his decision to retire, but I wish he didn't because he is so amazing as an actor.
And this is a special kind of comeback because he went out on top as the only way he could have been higher up was if he actually won the Oscar for Best Actor for Phantom Thread, but Gary Oldman was winning that one, and he was just yep, I'm just gonna roll out on this PTA film and go eat some mushrooms and enjoy. If you've seen Phantom Thread,
that was so weird.
Oh my god, that was
a choice.
That is one of the most interesting romances I think I've ever seen in a movie, and only Paul Thomas Anderson would make a movie about it.
It was interesting. That word is doing a lot of heavy lifting.
Yes, it does not do justice to the toxicity, the kink of it all.
Oh my god, it is a kink.
It 100% is.
1,000. It's yeah. Anyway, but no spoilers. But
yes.
Don't watch that movie with your parents.
Should you watch any Paul Thomas Anderson movie with your parents?
I mean, my parents just don't give a fuck about anything, so they'll watch any movie with me.
Well, I feel generally, as a general recommendation, would you recommend any Paul Thomas Anderson movie to watch with your parents?
No, my parents are fucking insane. They'll do anything.
I feel like the only director worse is Yorgos Lanthimos, and I have watched Killing of the Sacred Deer in a theater with my mom.
Oh my god, no.
She invited herself.
Okay, well.
I'm like, Mom, this is going to be a weird movie. You're not going to like it. And then I had to sit next to my mother while Nicole Kidman gave an apathetic quid pro quo hand job to Bill Camp in a truck.
Oh my god.
And I'm just like, wow.
Shane.
I'm not looking over. I'm looking straight ahead at the screen. And I don't want to talk to my mom about this movie afterwards.
How did you live through that?
I persevered, Paige.
Oh my god. No, but see, my mom would be doing the opposite. She'd be like, oh my god, this is so funny. I'd be the one dying and never wanting to speak of it again. But you know my mother. She torments.
There's been some movies that worked out really well. My mom loved Call of the Wild. She loved
there's no hand jobs in Call of the Wild.
Mary Poppins Returns.
No hand jobs
Little
in that
Women.
No, I don't think there's hand jobs in that.
But one that didn't work out so well, which I should have saw this one coming, Cats.
No hand jobs in that.
No, but
there's other things that are worse than a hand job.
There's other things I can't unsee.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Now, Paige, my last question for you is, if you met someone new and they had to get to know you through watching movies, What 3 movies would you pick for them to watch to get to know you?
Okay. This is a disturbing combination, but here we go. First one, Joel Schumacher's Phantom of the Opera.
Yes.
One of my favorite movies of all time. I think I made my grandma take me to see that in theaters like fucking like 12 times when I was, 12, 13 years old.
Because, Gerard Butler looks so hideous.
He's deformed.
He's so deformed.
He's a sunburn. No, but to this day, that's like one of my favorite movies. The camp of it all.
Yep.
I feel like he captured Joel Schumacher. Like, I feel like the movie gets so much hate, but I feel like Joel Schumacher captured the camp that Andrew Lloyd Webber...
When people found out later that Joel Schumacher was actually a gay man, was probably the most unsurprising thing ever.
Wait, what? People thought he wasn't gay? I was like, oh, this is like the gayest thing I've ever seen. I love it.
Well, I think it really put in a lot of perspective on Batman Forever and Batman and Robin.
The nipples. The nipples on the batsuit. Yeah.
Yep.
No, that
context.
It's so like campy, but I think also it's a visually beautiful film. Like,
yes,
unironically,
really
I will say that.
I've owned the DVD of that since I bought my mom it at Borders.
Oh, throwback.
Yes.
R.I.P.
Good for you if you know what Borders is, and if you don't, you're young.
If you know what Borders is, it's time for you to start wearing sunscreen every day. Let's put it that way.
There you go.
Yeah.
Number 2.
Star Trek IV, The Voyage Home, a.k.a. the whale movie.
Gotta save the whales.
Yes. That, I am a huge Trekkie. That's my favorite Star Trek movie because it's almost all, I like it a little better than Wrath of Khan even, because it's so just like fun and ridiculous, and it's just everything I love about Star Trek.
And it's a safe bet because it's an even number 1.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yep.
Yeah, but it's just like so ridiculous, and like everyone's having a good time, and like William Shatner is William Shatnering all over the place, and it's just I don't even care. It's my favorite. Like,
there you go. I have not seen that one.
It's funny.
I will admit my first jump into Star Trek was 100% the 3 J.J. Abrams era Star Trek movies.
Oh, really? Oh, really? Okay.
I had never watched any Star Trek before that. I've seen a few episodes of Next Gen. Jess and I started watching the original series at one point, kind of gave up on it. I'm like, where's William Shatner? Because like he doesn't start. That wasn't the reason why we stopped though. I think we realized how much of a how much we're gonna have to get through to catch up on Star Trek. But I do watch a lot of the Paramount Plus shows that they have, and I have watched Star Trek the motion picture and Wrath of Khan, and Wrath of Khan is great.
Yeah. No, Wrath of Khan's a legitimately like good movie. So that's why I feel like my choice of Star Trek for The Voyage Home is a little bit like honky tonk. But I don't care. I love it.
And then the third and final, what's the last movie you're going to tell people about, have them watch to get to know you?
The Shining.
Yes.
Yes. I love Kubrick. I mean, obviously, that's like the most lukewarm take any cinephile can have. Oh, I like Kubrick. But I love horror movies. I'll watch any. Shane knows I'll watch any fucking horror movie. Obviously, love Kubrick. But the psychological horror and existential dread of The Shining is like unmatched, and the ending shot is like that fucked with me. It still fucks with me. Stop it! Stop! That fucks with me to this day, man. It really does. So, yeah. But I feel like those 3 movies would be good. But as I'm listing them, I'm like, that's such a concerning conglomerate of things.
As your friend now for 5 years? 6 years? Close.
I think 6.
But it's accurate.
Yeah, you think so?
Yeah.
Okay.
I love asking this question, especially to people who I know, and then being like, "Yup."
Okay, so you think it's a good cross section of my personality?
Can I tell a quick story about The Shining, real quick?
Okay, it's your show, man.
Well, this is your interview. So I've worked at Ryder now for going into my 9th year.
You have a job? I thought this was your job.
I wish. How do I balance this all? Ask my friends. They'll probably say I have a time turner.
You fall asleep a lot when we're watching things. That's how, I
But
think.
when I was walking across the front of our suite and our admin was trying to introduce me to a student, it's like, Shane, how long have you been here? And I slow turned and I just said, I've always been here.
He's always been the caretaker.
I've always been the caretaker of the Academic Success Center at Rider University.
Oh,
and I'm just like, and she got such a big kick out of that. I'm sure that student had no idea what movie I was referencing because I work with a bunch of 18-year-olds.
I saw the shot. I took classes on Kubrick when I was 19, 20.
Yeah, but not every 18-year-old does.
Yeah, some 18-year-olds have friends.
Every 18-year-old should watch The Shining. I'm just throwing that out there. Maybe not. It might be triggering for some people.
I was going to say, that's a proceed with caution type of movie, I think.
Yes.
It's very disturbing.
But how I always like to wrap up the show is our wild card at the end where my guest gets to ask me a question. So, Paige, what would you like to ask the Wasteland Reviewer?
How dare you? No, I'm just kidding. The actual question I have for you. So, think of any movie that exists in the world.
Mm-hmm.
If you could wave a magic wand and recast any role in any movie, which one would you recast? And you can pick another actor or not.
I'm trying to think where things that I really loved, but were like, was that the best casting for it? I feel like this is an easy go-to one, and I feel bad for targeting Keanu Reeves because he is such a nice human being.
I fully agree with what I think you're about to say.
But, like, Bram Stoker's Dracula, like, was not a great choice. This might not be my final answer, but, like, I feel like that is definitely one that makes a lot of sense. Because, like, you had Gary Oldman absolutely killing every single form of Dracula that he plays in this movie. You had Anthony Hopkins, who's completely unhinged. Actually, you know what? I have one too.
Okay.
I would probably say Avatar. Because, sorry, Sam Worthington, you are one of the most uninteresting of the, like, next big leading actors that Hollywood's tried to make. I enjoy him now in some of the supporting roles that he pops up in because I feel like it's more, like, leans into what... He was on that mini-series about Mormons with Andrew Garfield in it. And he was so good in that. I'm like, stuff like that, yes. I feel like, because, like, if I'm not mistaken, Matt Damon was the original choice to star in Avatar.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
I feel like Avatar would have been much more interesting if Matt Damon starred in it. Because, like,
Fair.
I just don't feel like Sam Worthington's that charismatic of an actor. I feel like he works much better as a character actor. Mm-hmm. And I would also probably say the same thing about Terminator Salvation. Okay. Because also, Sam Worthington, like, you're acting against Christian Bale, which, unfortunately, the most famous thing about that movie is Christian Bale's complete hissy fit that he had on set.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Oh my god.
You want to hear a hot take from Paige?
Okay.
I actually think, you said Sam Worthington you feel like is better as kind of a supporting person. I feel the same way about Brad Pitt.
Brad Pitt is so much more interesting when he's playing weird characters. Yeah. So much more interesting. I feel like one of the Ocean's movies, I do really enjoy him as... Because, like, basically, George Clooney, Matt Damon, and Brad Pitt are all playing leading men in that because, like, that's what's expected of them. But outside of that, I feel like most films when he's... Like, Inglourious Bastards, that's not a traditional leading role for Brad Pitt. Yeah. He's weird.
But he does so... I think he does it really well.
He's hilarious. He nails it. 12 Monkeys, great. Anything where he's doing something weird, different, and offbeat, he's so much more interesting. But yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah. I think with like cringe about the 1994 Interview with the Vampire movie where he and Tom Cruise are like well, maybe that's just...
I know Anne Rice was very upset about Tom Cruise getting cast, right?
Yeah,
initially.
That was insane casting to me.
And yet, perfect casting for one person in that movie. And I'm going to channel my inner Guillermo from What We Do in the Shadows at this moment. Antonio Banderas.
Oh my god. Okay, we both love the AMC series, Interview with the Vampire, and this
my biggest hot take about that show is that they did not get somebody sexy enough to play Armand, and you had Antonio Banderas in that movie, and this is how you recast?
I had to hear about that for like a good... We were talking about it for an hour.
Lestat?
Perfect.
Louis? Perfect.
Daniel Malloy? Perfect.
Yep.
Armand?
No.
I love the casting of Armand. Sorry.
That's okay. I have my own personal feelings and why I love Antonio Banderas, and I was just disappointed that that guy wasn't. And that's my problem to deal with.
Because if I remember correctly from our conversation, you agreed he's like a good actor.
He is a good actor.
He's bad, but it's just you just.
Why would I believe? Because all of these relationships are toxic in this show.
They're so toxic.
Why would you choose that guy over Lestat, though?
Because he's a skilled emotional manipulator, and Lestat is not as good at it.
Poor Louis.
I know.
That's basically the theme of that show. Is just that Louis just gets emotionally manipulated by every damn vampire.
I love it. I love the toxic gay shit. Oh my god, bring it the fuck on. Ugh.
That's why it's so disappointing. Like, they have other Anne Rice shows. Like, AMC and AMC Plus is really trying to make an Anne Rice universe happen.
The Immortals universe, I think they're calling it.
And, like, I did not like that. The one with
Mayfair Witches?
Yeah.
No, that sucked.
Yeah.
No,
it's just like, this is nothing compared to, like, the Interview with the Vampire show that is going on presently. So, yeah.
I know that... I saw some interview recently with, I forget the actor's name who plays Daniel Malloy, Eric something. Mm-hmm. I know he's on Succession. I don't remember his name. I'm sorry, whoever you are, if you ever see this. But, yeah, I remember reading, like, AMC reposted this, and he's like, yeah, I'll get naked for season 3. And I'm like, yeah.
I feel like there's...
Sums it up so perfectly why I love that show.
Because I feel like the first book, we have encompassed that. There's a brave new world ahead of us with what they can do with this new season.
There's a song. Sam Reed recorded a whole song. Like, they're, like, leaning into, like, you know, Lestat and his pop star era. It's so good. I'm obsessed with that show. And if I thought that Arden would like it, Would that
be, like, the next thing on the Evil Twins podcast?
So we have a next show. And I'll tell you off camera what show it is. But
we're going to wrap this up.
It's not an interview. It's not an interview with Vampire, though.
But Paige, thank you as always coming on and talking with me.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me. Always a pleasure.
And thank all of you out there for always tuning in and supporting your Wasteland Reviewer.